In this session, we're going to take a look at my top 5 cool new features that are making their way into Microsoft 365, and I guarantee you're not going to want to miss these. Greetings everyone, welcome to the channel. Andy here. So nice to see you, especially if this is your first visit. You know, I've been looking at my channel statistics this week, and it works out that only 20% of you are subscribing to my channel. So come on, let's have an effort, bump that subscribe button, ring the bell. So come and join this great community that I'm trying to build out with Microsoft 365 knowledge. Okay, and everything on my channel is designed to help you learn and ultimately to get you certified as well. Now, if you've got questions about this or any of my other topics, of course, get them down below. I really do welcome that. Now, on this week's episode, I thought I would take a look at what I think are my top 5 kind of new features. Well, some are new, some have just been kind of a bit hidden for a while. But either way, they are features that are going to make a real difference to you guys. All right. So super cool features. Some of these we've been asking for a long time. So it's really nice to see them in to Microsoft 365. So I think without any further jabber jabber, I think it's about time we jump into the demos. So if you're ready to learn, let's dive in. So if you've not seen the new Microsoft Stream, it's super easy to get started. You simply come into SharePoint online and you come into the Microsoft Stream, which is currently in preview. And this is the Stream 2.0. Now, Stream is an awesome video platform and you can do some really cool stuff. But now it's got even better. So again, what we're going to do is where you can add your own content. You can, again, you can choose the update paths. And in terms of migration, I can say, okay, I want to migrate my content. So if you've got any content that you've got, you can go ahead and you can migrate it to 2.0. So again, you can see that we can go ahead and enable it for our organization. So just hitting that button, it's super simple to do. So once it's starting the provisioning process, what we'll then do is it just takes a few moments to do. Now, of course, the more content that you've got in to Stream, the better it is. But the actual software itself. So here we go. So it's all been provisioned into Microsoft SharePoint now. And this is the new Stream. So I can go ahead, I can upload a video, I can also record a video here as well. So this is just a web player, really nice and simple, but just look at the powerful things that you can do here. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to give it permissions to record my microphone and my audio. And you can see that I'm going to go ahead and I'm recording. All right, so pretty simple to do. Now that I've recorded it, I can stop the recording. What else can we do here? Now, you could never do some of this stuff previously, but you'll notice here, I can now either click next, but we also have a toolbar up here on the right-hand side. And I can say, hey, you know, do you want to add some text to our video? So again, I can say, yep, I want to do that. So I'm going to add, let's say, Microsoft Stream here. And you can change the color, the background. I can move it around wherever I want it to go, and so on. And on top of the text, which looks pretty good, don't you think? I can also say, hey, you know, do you want to apply some kind of cool filters? So there's different text styles that you can use. You can add shadows, but check out the different filters that you can do. You can make, ooh, look at that. You can make yourself look all kinds of funky colors. So you can really make it look like, you know, you're in an old movie or you're some kind of 70s retro. Oh my goodness. So you can choose there the filter that you want, and you can even add photos, graphics on top of this. All right. So when you're finished, you can then just go ahead, click on next, and this will then export it out there for you. And you can, of course, choose there are a number of formats that you can choose as well. Okay, I have just disabled the voice on this video, obviously. So once I'm happy with the video, I'm happy with the way it looks, you can then choose where exactly and how you want to export it out. So there's a number of options that you can choose. You can create an album, you can push it out, you can save it, and once you're happy, and then when you're ready, you can go ahead and hit that publish button, and off it goes, and it'll take a few moments to render. Okay. Now you can see it's now gone into your OneDrive for Business, and you can also add comments, and you can change the language as well. So if you're using kind of Microsoft Teams, you can take advantage of things like translation tools, which is absolutely awesome. The next new feature I want to talk about can be found here in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and this is the Microsoft Marketplace. Now, the Marketplace looks a little bit basic to start with, but I honestly think it's going to turn out to be something really special. So basically what we have here is obviously just starting with a whole bunch of Microsoft applications that we can see here. And again, you can either go to the full products here, or you can go up here as well. And you can see that this used to be in the billing section in Microsoft 365. And the idea is you can now search for a particular product here, and you can either add it to your plan, or you can often try out the product for free, which is really nice. So definitely check out the Marketplace, the Microsoft Marketplace. And as I said, at the moment, it's just Microsoft apps, but pretty soon I think you're going to start seeing a lot of cool third-party stuff in here as well. Now, I can't talk about my top 5 features without talking about Endpoint Manager. So very shortly, Endpoint Manager, or Intune, whichever you want to call it, is going to go through another name change. Apparently, we're now going back to Intune. They finally decided that it was a good name after all. So there have been a load of new changes, and I'm actually going to do a dedicated session on this in the not too distant future. But for now, this is just a very quick overview. Manage devices. So you've got the Microsoft Managed Desktop. This includes Azure Virtual Desktop, of course, Windows 365, amongst many others. If I come into the devices here, you can now see that not only do we support Windows, iOS, iPad, Mac OS, Android, there is now a Chrome OS preview that you can now sign up for. This is really welcomed, and this is it's a fantastic product, by the way. Now check out the support that we've got for Chrome OS within Intune. And just to remind you, of course, that we also have Linux support in here as well. And you can go in here and you can create compliance policies that will ensure your Linux devices stay up to date and on track. So the other new feature as well is in here. So for example, one of the nice things that we've now got, of course, is a real update in the Windows Store. So I can go in and I can simply add in an app, and you can choose what kind of app do you want. And we've got the new App Store here. So I can click into here, and at last I can search the App Store, and I can type in just Microsoft here, and I get presented with lots and lots of different apps here. So for example, if I wanted to download Teams, you can see that you've got different versions of the apps. Not only have you got modern apps, but you've also got classic Win32-bit based apps as well. So I can choose something like the Microsoft News app. I can click on Next. It gives me all the details about that app. And I can say, yeah, do I want to show the features to the user? I can fill in some details, some notes. I can choose the logo for the app here. You can also create your own logos and things as well. So I'm going to click on Next. And again, you can then choose, hey, who do I want to assign this to? So you can choose, I want to assign it to a group of users. So I've got some users in the Aberdeen head office here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign that. You can also, of course, depending on the apps, you can uninstall apps. So you're getting the real life cycle benefits here of apps. So not only installation, but also uninstallation as well, which makes things so much easier to work. So we get a nice overview of everything that the package is doing, and we can click on create and simply and seamlessly deploy that app. Wonderful stuff. Okay, now the other thing, of course, that we have is an enhancement into things like endpoint security, of course. So endpoint security is about all things secure, and we can come in here and we've now got things like endpoint detection and response. You've got account protection, you've got improvements in conditional access. We have got disk encryption, so if you're BitLockering any devices or you want to encrypt any devices, which I hope you would, again, you might want to do things like backing up your BitLocker keys and things like that. Other things, the monitoring tools are really nice because it allows you to monitor any potential assignment failures that you may have configured, and it fully integrates into the likes of Endpoint Manager as well. So again, assuming this is not set up for a license, but assuming that you're licensed, you could go in here and you could configure your Endpoint Configuration Manager. Just another couple of things, improvements that Microsoft are currently working on. If I go into the tenant administration here, we've got the new or the enhanced tunnel gateway service as well. So if you're looking to really improve the connectivity for your users who are connecting both inbound, let's say to a hybrid environment, this can be really useful as well. I'm actually, as I said, I'm going to do a full session on Endpoint Manager or Intune in the not too distant future, but definitely check out this product because there's been a whole bunch of new changes. Now, on the subject of apps, I just want to scroll down in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and I want to pop into Teams. Now, Teams has gone through a whole bunch of changes recently, and again, I plan to do a dedicated session on this in the not too distant future. But one of the things I wanted to draw your attention to, if I just scroll down, is the concept of apps. Now, of course, we all know what apps are. We get apps published in Teams, and we can manage those apps here in the Admin Center. So you can manage all the apps that you've got within your organization, and more than that, you can choose to allow, you can choose to block them, and so on. Now, of course, you can control applications or apps at different levels. So you can block or manage the apps at the organization level, you can manage them at the Teams level, and you can also manage them at the individual level as well. So a couple of things that have changed recently. We now have a category in organization-wide are tailored apps. And tailored apps are for specific types of workers. So typically what we call kiosk workers or frontline workers. So these frontline workers work very hard in various call centers around the world. And what this does is it allows users with F licenses to be able to get the apps tailored for Microsoft Teams. Now, if you're fairly new to this, I would definitely take a look at this. It's on by default, and these tailored apps, well, you can see there's a white paper here, which you can find on docs.microsoft.com, and it will tell you exactly how to publish these tailored apps for your frontline workers and make them available. It's an absolutely welcome feature, and not to mention a very cool feature for your users. So definitely check out tailored apps. Now, the other thing that you can also control from the organizational app setting are things like third-party apps as well. Again, whether you want to block third-party apps from the App Store or you just don't want third-party apps. Custom apps, of course, are applications that you create yourself. So you can use tools like Power Apps, Power Automate, which are awesome, by the way, at creating this stuff. We've also got external access, and you can control things like, do you want external users to be able to get access to apps? and indeed they can request access to the apps as well. So there we go. That's just a quick few settings there in Microsoft Teams. Now, while we're in Microsoft Teams, one thing that's also come up as well, if you've not done this, voice can sometimes be a real barrier to Teams. Especially, for example, getting phone numbers and so on. I just want to mention Operator Connect. So sometimes we work in places where, for example, we don't have a Microsoft data center, or you maybe, getting phone calls. If you want to make phone calls to PSTN line, public switch telephone networks, it can be very expensive. Well, now we have Operator Connect. This has been out a little while, but I think it's absolutely awesome. And if you've not checked it out, you should definitely take a look. So you can look at various offers from various vendors around the world. So for example, I'm here in Norway, and I can choose companies like Telenor, BT, Vodafone, and I can go in and look at see who's giving me the best deal, who's giving me the best offer. And basically you pay for the license, and it includes call credits for your users, and basically it's all managed for you on your behalf. And it's so simple to use, and it makes provisioning of phone numbers and assigning numbers and managing all of this so much easier. So definitely take a look at Operator Connect. Now lastly, I want to take a quick look in Microsoft Purview. This is the Compliance Center in Microsoft 365. And if you've not taken a look, then maybe you should. There's definitely been a few updates in here. So what I want to do particularly, one of my favorite ones I just want to show you, is the improvements that they're making with information protection. So information protection is fantastic at protecting your environment for potential data loss. So information protection allows you to create labels or sensitivity labels and assign them to policies. And once they've been assigned to a policy, you can then open up, let's say, a document like this in Microsoft Word or whatever, and you'll notice that we have a sensitivity button here, and I can go in and I can assign a sensitivity button. Now, up until recently, you could only do this for emails, presentations, files, and so on. Now, we had the feature to be able to do groups and teams, but unfortunately it was disabled, and the only way to switch it on was to go through PowerShell, which was very cumbersome. So now it's a joy to finally come in here, create a new label. We'll call this Highly Secret, okay? And I can just simply copy that, paste that into the display name, and also I can put it in a description as well. So I'm creating a sensitivity label called Highly Secret, and this is the new thing here. So you'll notice that here, not only can I assign it to items, but I can also include meetings as well. Now, please note this is Teams Premium. You can also assign it to groups and sites. So up until recently, groups and sites was disabled, and you had to go in and configure it through a PowerShell. So it's so nice to see this included now. Also, if you're using schematized data, databases and AI engines and so on, then you can also do that as well. So I can go ahead, I can apply encryption, I can also apply content marking, and you can see Protect Teams Meetings. This is the Teams Premium feature, which requires an additional license. So what I'm going to do is configure encryption settings here. I can either choose to apply this permissions myself or ask users to do it. I can also put in a content expiry option here as well, which is also a nice extra level of security. Do you want to allow offline access? So again, you might have salespeople out on the road. You don't want them accessing or downloading particular content. You only want them to allow online access, for example, through a team or through OneDrive for Business. So I can go ahead, I can assign the permission, and I can, let's say, for all users and groups in the organization, and we have what we call permission levels. So you can see I can go through each of these permission levels, and you can see what permissions that the users will have. You can also, of course, go through the custom option as well if you want to. For the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to choose co-author, and I'm going to click on next. So I'm going to scroll down. You can see that double key encryption is great, by the way, as long as your client supports it. For more information, click on this little link here. I'm going to click next, and I'm going to say, yeah, do you want to do some content marking? So I can put in a header or a footer or a watermark diagonally across the page. Again, I'm just going to do a header. I'm just going to paste that message in there, highly secret. I'll make it size 12. I'm going to make this, let's say, red, and I'm going to align it to the left-hand side here. Again, I'm going to click on next. Do you want to do auto labeling? Now, if you do an auto label, this intermixes information protection labels with data loss prevention policies. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to say no. So I'm going to click on next. Do I want to, let's say, privacy and external access settings? This is quite useful. And you can also do external sharing and conditional access settings as well. So you can choose what level of privacy that you're going to get here. So for example, I might say, hey, this is internal. I'm going to make sure that it's private, and I'm not going to share this with external users. And likewise, control external sharing from label SharePoint sites. So I can control that. And again, I can say, I want to, if we did have an anyone policy, I could say only with existing guests only. Again, schematized data I'm not using in this demo. And when I'm happy, I can go ahead and just review my label and then just publish it. Now, just a word of warning, if you publish a label, every time you publish a label, it also creates a policy. So you could end up with the scenario where you've got 50 labels with 50 policies. So I'm going to choose don't create a policy just now. And what I can do is I can go into the label policies that I've already created. And again, I can now edit this existing policy, edit the options. If I scroll down, you can see here is the new label that I've just created, and I want to add that to my policy. Click on next, continue, and continue, and I'm just accepting it. Do you want to put in a default label? Again, for the purpose, I'm just going to say not this time. Thank you very much. Okay, so name my policy, and then of course just update that. Now that can take around 30 minutes. So if you're working in, let's say, Microsoft Word, and you go into sensitivity, you'll notice here that that label hasn't been updated. So it can take about 30 minutes for that label to come in. So like I said, really nice to see groups and teams. Oh, and by the way, that is far-reaching. So again, I can come into Microsoft 365, and if I come into Teams and Groups now, and if I scroll down to a particular group, one of the properties that you can have on the group, because of this labeling and classification, is the ability to place a confidentiality label on a group, a team, and also a SharePoint website. So if I click onto settings here, look at this, you've now got the sensitivity label option here, and that absolutely rocks. So there you have it, my top 5 kind of new features currently finding their way into Microsoft 365. What do you think? Are there any features I should have put in there? Let me know and give your feedback with the comments down below. If you've got questions, I love those. And remember, if you've not subscribed, bump the subscribe button up there, ring the bell, and come and join our great Microsoft 365 community that I'm trying to build out. All right, that's it for this time. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. You take care. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by today. Here's a couple of videos that you may enjoy, and while you're here, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and you won't miss out.